Theresa May has systematically defied the will of the people, and it seems to be that Remainers are winning Brexit. But why and how? Well, in this video we're going to play a game of Remainers versus Brexiteers to find out who is really winning in the Brexit checkers deal. We have Remainers, we have Brexiteers, and then we have the government. Each question is a question relating to Brexit, an area of interest, and you're going to see opinions on each topic come up. So, without further ado, let's bring up the first topic, the Irish border. So, as we know, the border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland comes under contention in the Brexit negotiations. If you have Northern Ireland and as part of the UK out of the customs union and single market, then how will the Northern Irish border work with the Republic of Ireland? If you have a hard border with Northern Ireland, then it creates uncertainty for the Troubles. So, Remainers don't want a hard border at all. That's according to Anna Soubry. Brexiteers want a tax point rather than a checkpoint, according to Jacob Reece Mogg. What does the government want? Well, they want to avoid friction at the border. So who wins this case? Well, given that it sounds more like what the Remainers are asking for, as opposed to a tax point, which what Jacob Reece Mogg wants, I'm going to give the Remainers points. Next question. Trade. Remainers want to be in the customs union and single market. Brexiteers want to be out of the customs union and single market. The customs union and single market pose the biggest economic threat by leaving them, but also are the things that are defined by the European Union. So Brexit wouldn't really be Brexit without leaving the customs union and single market. Leaving the customs union means that we get to trade with other countries outside of the European Union, and leaving the single market means that we get to end free movement of people. But what does the government want? Well, the government wants a common rule book for goods and regulatory flexibility on services. To me, this sounds a lot like being in the customs union and the single market put into different words. Obviously, the government aren't going to put explicitly that they want to be in the customs union and single market, but for this, I've chosen to give another point to the Remainers. Next question. Justice. So Remainers want protections for workers and the environment, that's according to Labour. But they also want to retain the oversight of cross-EU bodies. Brexiteers say, if we are still subject to the European Court of Justice, we have not left the EU. That's according to Jacob Reece Mogg. The government wants to be free from European Court of Justice oversight, but they say that the ECJ will only have a role in relation to the interpretation of those EU rules to which the UK had agreed to adhere to as a matter of international law. So basically they're saying that if the UK is part of these cross-EU bodies, such as the EU Atom scientific body and things like that, they will adhere to ECJ law. Now, it seems like we're going to be inside more cross-EU bodies than outside of them, so it seems like we're going to have more ECJ control over UK law than not. But it's totally up for interpretation, and for that reason I'm going to give Brexiteers the point. Immigration. So the biggest question and the biggest reason for Brexit was the question of immigration. How do we control immigration and still provide immigrants to the services that we need running in this country? So Remainers say, I believe in the free movement of labour from the EU. That's according to Anna Soubry. But Brexiteers say continuing free movement under another guise would let down the least well off in society. So the biggest issue regarding Brexit was that a lot of people from poorer EU countries were coming into the country, taking lower paid jobs and taking away job opportunities from the working classes in the UK. So the government will permit only paid work in limited and clearly defined circumstances. They say that the UK proposes a UK youth mobility scheme and trade arrangements which cover trade in services include provisions on the mobility of people for the provisions of services. So if we are making a trade deal with, for example, Poland, and for whatever reason we decide that we need more Polish plumbers, then we will let in more Polish plumbers. Likewise, if young people want to come here and study or work, there's going to be a youth mobility scheme. But they're saying that they will permit only paid work in limited and clearly defined circumstances. So that means that, well, I'm not quite sure what that means. It seems like the government is using deliberately vague language to allow free movement of people. So for that reason, I'm giving Remainers the point. So the final score is Remainers 3, Brexiteers 1. Remainers are winning so far out of the checkers plan. But if you want me to test any other questions of Brexit or any other topics you want me to cover regarding Brexit, let me know in the comments below and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.